All right. Hey, Charles. How you doing, man? Trying to get a hold of you. Karen? James? I'm going to share this. I'm going to start a watch party. We're going to do our Star Wars review. We both saw the movie. We're both all caught up on The Mandalorian. Mandalorian drops tomorrow night.
Hey, Rock, you see my post on Facebook? I'm looking for a list of cars. I want to do at least one car review a month. I went on Turo, and I was like, man, there's some good stuff on here.
I was about to say that's a good little app to get on.
It is pretty sweet.
I told you my buddy did he was one of the first guys in Turo. He bought 37 used cars and had investors buying them and putting the credit down and struggling to make $15 a day per car, but
That's crazy.
too much, man. You're too small on this stuff.
I thought about buying like a used Prius. You can get them for like 8, 9, 10 grand. And do the, I don't know, 25, 50 bucks a day, whatever it is, and just leave it here in like here at the office. And for guys that cars in the shop or that sort of thing, I think you either have to go like super budget or you go high end. I don't think there's any in between.
Well, and I get I'm seriously looking at the Model 3
Oh yeah?
as a short-term investment between the Cybertruck.
The price went down. I was watching Matt Farrar's video on it. I mean, it's a legit little deal. I watched a review on the Porsche, the Taycan. It's insanely fast.
Yeah.
All right, we're talking about Mandalorian now, so. Oh
yeah. And the Rise of the Skywalker.
yeah.
Let's do our reviews. Raylan, you are, man.
Go on live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're part of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. And this is our Star Wars segment. Do we want to...
Spoilers.
Spoilers. So if you are not ready for spoilers, then just click over to the next podcast or the next episode. So...
what if they're in their car driving?
Well, I could go... on my deal, I could go through YouTube on my steering wheel.
Okay.
So it'll work. You just do the little forward thing. And I don't have a fancy car. I drive a Toyota. So surely you ballers out there in your Mercedes and BMW, surely you can get YouTube and your podcast and all that to go to the next episode. So you want to talk about the bad first? Rise of the Skywalker?
Rise of the Skywalker. So you thought it was bad, huh?
So I gotta admit, when Palpatine shows up,
Yeah.
and I guess it was the first 5 or 10 minutes of the movie, right? And he's sitting there and he goes, "And now it's time for the final order."
Right.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's another order? This one's final though. This one's I'm gonna do a whole parody of that thing. This is I swear this is the last one. And then all these all the ships come out, and I'm like, no, really, this is the last one.
Yeah.
There's no more after this, right? So I'm just at that point, I hit the little button. I was at Star Movie Cinema Grill or whatever. Whichever one. I hit the little button.
Beer me.
And the guy comes over and I said, I need a picture of that IPA. And Sarah's like, I'm only going to have one more. I'm like, not for you. I can already tell I'm not going to like this. This is really the final order. Guys, this is the last time we're going to do this. We've got whipped in 6 movies now. This is the final order. And I was like, this is so ridiculous. Now, the last 15, 20 minutes.
20 minutes of the movie,
were really good.
Yeah.
I thought they were really good.
So I think, the comparisons are, and the nice way to say it, it's like a video game, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta go get this, and you gotta go get that,
right.
And then you gotta go fight the boss, and then you can move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get to the super boss.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very strategic that way. Here's the thing about sci-fi and fantasy, right? at the end of it all, these movies are about you either make a connection with the characters or you don't,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you don't, then the movie feels very, very empty,
Yeah.
right? And the problem is we had a connection with all these characters, and we wanted to connect with Ray
Yeah.
and Poe. We wanted to connect with these guys and Finn. We really, really did.
Mm-hmm.
But they did not allow us to at all in this movie. You did not connect with anyone until the very, very end when here comes the spoilers, right? When Han Solo shows up.
Yeah.
Right at that point, you're like, oh, finally I can connect, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, it was just a bunch of fanboy service.
Yeah.
That you really did. I didn't get half of the first part of the movie until I watched videos on YouTube explaining to me why this was clever.
Yeah.
And we talked about that. To see a Star Wars movie, you have to go watch 100 hours of other stuff, so you're not missing anything.
Although I will tell you this, I did like Finn in this movie much more than the previous two movies, because I thought he was getting into that like Jar Jar Binks territory.
He was Jar Jar Binks in the last movie. It's just stupid stuff,
terrible.
right?
But this last one, I'm like, all right, I'm liking this a little bit more.
Right.
And the problem with Poe is he's supposed to be what that guy's really supposed to be is like the stand-in for Han Solo, right? Like he's the next year.
Yeah.
But he's not hard enough. Like, dude, and it's the same thing with Kylo Ren. He's so weak. I was like, the very first movie when he takes his mask off, I'm like, come on,
He is like his grandfather.
Yeah, I'm like, but he's got. They didn't allow that character really. He could have been so much more evil, and I'm like, just not. This is so lame. You could tell with the first movie, I'm like, he's going to turn at some point, and he's going to be a good boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. So that was. But the last 20. Now the part I didn't get. So Rey goes back to Tatooine, right? Mm-hmm. Which is interesting because that's not really where Luke is from.
Right.
And they bury both the lightsabers there, Luke and Leia's.
Yes.
And that whole Leia Skywalker kind of thing, train, I'm like, I don't...
Again, there was books back in the 80s.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to go back into all that canon, right? But I thought that was kind of it. And then, of course, that last scene, which is saying, basically, there's going to be some movies after, or there can be some movies after this one.
I hope not.
Yeah. Let's just bury the current... Let's just bury this section of Star Wars and just say, hey, it was a great run for the last 15 years, and let's go to the Knights of the Old Republic.
Right.
Or let's go to
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, more Baby Yoda.
More Baby Yoda.
Let's go to the Mandalorian.
So we weren't. I agree with you. I was not a big fan of the movie The Rise of Skywalker. I felt it did a real disservice to us. It didn't serve the last movie. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, Snoke is no one. He's a clone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He was this badass that really took these Skywalkers here, these two great Jedis, the future of the Jedi Order, to destroy them. But now he's just a clone.
Now he's just like a regular dude. Yeah, he's no big deal.
It was all a big plan. And you could have laid it in there. Now, a lot of people did from the very first movie say that Rey was descendant of Palpatine because of the way she fought with the lightsabers. Right?
Oh, interesting.
He fought. And that was years ago. People had that theory, and I'm not sure if they're right or they were just movie was just so messed up they went to the internet to find anything possible and say let's just do this. So very disappointing.
Yeah,
very, very disappointing in that franchise and how they destroyed it. Right? I mean, and it goes. And I'm not saying it was Disney or Iger or Kathleen, because it goes all the way back to the second trilogies, which were horrible.
They were horrible too.
You had this really great Western of a movie in the original trilogy, and then they made it garbage out.
Well, and what's funny is, if you remember back when the first prequel came out, everyone was saying, oh, it's because Lucas is still involved and he's lost his touch. I'm like, I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think you've got... For the last most recent 6 movies in the trilogy, well, it's not even the trilogy at this point, right? There's 9 of them.
The trilogy and trilogies.
Yeah, so all of those are they're not great. I think it's movie by committee. That's the problem. That's what I feel like. it's not like Disney can't make great movies, right?
Oh, look at Marvel, right?
Yeah, I think it's movie by committee at this point, and it's not great. I will tell you this: when the numbers came out that said the market they were 20% below in attendance, I saw it when I was at the theater. I'm like,
oh, no doubt.
I'm like, why is this not packed? Now we got literally like the day it was coming out, we got the seats we wanted and all that. But when I got there, I was like, where is everybody?
Yeah.
And maybe it's because it was a Thursday, and then the news came in Monday that hey, it was like 20% below, the last movie and all that stuff. So
the last good Star Wars movie in my mind was Rogue One. It was just
that was pretty good. Rogue One was pretty good.
Cinematography was great. There's a lot of practical effects, and then they went in for this doesn't have to be a happy ending.
Yeah, which is great.
I mean, what toys were out of Rogue One?
Well, yeah.
Right, none.
Well, because the story. Rogue One, you already know the story by the end of it.
Right, absolutely.
Everyone dies.
Yep, everyone dies.
It's the Battle of the Alamo.
Exactly.
That is exactly what Rogue One is. Going in, everyone dies.
Yeah, so I was happy with that movie. I thought when that came out, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be so great. I got another 30 years of these great movies ahead of me, and not so much.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is Robert and Jason with Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is Texas Real Estate Radio
Next
Network.
segment, we'll talk about Mandalorian.
Yes, the saving grace of Star Wars coming up here. Robert and Jason, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We will be back.
The final order. And I was sitting there, and then the ships come out of the planet, and I'm like, oh no, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
And I looked at Sarah, and then I started making fun of the movie, which was to the chagrin of my family.
Oh, while everyone's watching.
While everyone's watching, I'm like, is this the final order? Like, it sucks. It's so bad.
Ha ha.
I do want to watch it again.
You have to watch the pitch meeting. There's a guy who does this great little spoof, the pitch meeting. Matter of fact, we'll pull it up before I leave for Texas City. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's absolutely hilarious.
The final order. Are you sure? This is really the final order? Yeah, I'm positive.
The final order.
The final. This is the last one. But that last scene with Ray and whoever that was, we haven't had someone like you in a long time. Like, oh, we're leaving the door open to make some more movies here.
Well, maybe not movies, but just canon. Books and comics.
Yeah. I like her, but I don't like her as that. I've just never got into Ray as the character. But part of this is fulfilling. Lucas wanted Skywalker to be a woman. If you go back and read some of the historical stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I'm so over the girl power stuff. Like, I just am. I'm like, I don't know. Watching that whole thing.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, I'm going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back, Jason Bible, Robert Orfino, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're part of the Mr. Texas Real Estate team. And we are talking about The Mandalorian. We just got done talking about Rise of the Skywalker.
Yes.
It's over. Thank God. Okay, so now we're talking about real Star Wars. The Mandalorian is... So I finally caught up the last 2 episodes.
Oh, good.
When I saw Bill Burr, I was like, yes!
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr
that was a great episode.
That was a great episode. I'm like, please bring Bill back. He was great.
They didn't kill him.
They didn't kill him. That's right. He's in prison. He did great. When I Googled it up, I'm like, that's totally Bill Burr. He's done an interview. I have not watched it yet.
Yeah, he's good.
But he was good in it. That was a good episode.
Yeah.
We get to see some more. My favorite scene is when he's fighting those droids.
Uh-huh.
And he comes over and just Mozambiques that guy, shoots him right in the head. And then they do the camera as they're walking away through the smoldering hole in that droid's head. I was like, this is awesome.
My favorite was when they get into the control center and they make fun of the guy's shoes.
Oh yeah, his white nice shoes, bro.
Nice white shoes. Because it was made in the 70s.
Yes.
So that was like, that was so great.
It was great with the matching belt.
Oh, the matching belt, like really oversized belt, and it took you right back to 1976, and there it is, like nice shoes.
Nice shoes.
Yeah. So great. And I'm like, I just need a few more $1 million and I'll start wearing white loafers.
Oh, there you go.
Just walk
We'll
around
get
with
you
a white
some
loafer.
Gucci horsebit white loafers.
Yeah, that'll be the guy. Yep.
Shorts.
I was like, that is so
shorts.
great.
But yeah, I like it. It's good. It is really good.
So really good, and then he does the force choke.
Yeah.
Little dark side coming out of Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
He chokes her. And there's a little hint there. I don't know if you noticed. So the Mandalorian Baby Yoda online community believes that that Baby Yoda is well aware of everything that's going on. Is understanding every conversation.
Mm-hmm.
As probably can speak, has just not chosen to speak.
Mm.
And there was a little scene there when he's choking her out.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing that. He's twisting it, just like Vader did. And he shakes him, and he says, "No, friend." If you watch, Baby Yoda says,
Oh, interesting.
"No." Baby Yoda shakes his head, says, "Not a friend."
Interesting.
So I was is that a reference to that scene right there, or does Baby Yoda know something? Like, we're gonna find out in this final episode that she betrayed him.
Yeah.
At the canteen.
Oh yeah, interesting.
So I'm very excited to see if that comes through. So yes, and a lot of good comic stuff when he blows a hole through the android and he looks at his hand like, did I do that?
Yeah.
Yoda, that was
pretty good.
That was really, really good. So thank God, that they're doing this. And my little joke was, I'd rather watch a Star Wars movie with no plot than one with that plot, with a bad plot, right? Because you still don't know everything's going on in The Mandalorian, and I guess it's very kung fu. I feel like it's kung fu, right? Like back in the 70s with David Carradine. I feel like, or Keith Carradine. I feel like that's what's going on. No, David Carradine.
No, David Carradine. Yeah.
And the cinematography is better than the movies. I'm like, looks better. Then obviously there's a lot more effects in the movies. But man, I was like, this looks so good. The acting's great from nobodies, right? And we're more enthused about Baby Yoda than we were about Rey Skywalker.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, it is. I'm enjoying the series. It's a pretty good little series.
I'll tell you how much they committed to the series. In order to have hit the holiday shelves, they would have had to have pre-ordered Baby Yoda toys in April, and they would have had initial box designs done prior to Disney Plus launching. So they chose to skip the holiday season for toy merchandise to keep the secret of Baby Yoda on The Mandalorian.
Interesting.
Because because you have to order the toys a year before the movie comes out, right, to coordinate it and be there for that holiday season. And when they did the last Avengers movies, they had all the toys out. The boxes for the toys and the prototypes for the toys at the toy shows, so people would come and buy them, and Toys R Us and all stuff would buy them, and there they all were in those white uniforms, right?
Yeah.
So there's some. Oh wait, well look who's back, because and here's Ant-Man in his white uniform, so clearly Ant-Man makes it out of the thing, right? So there's a lot of things that could be spoiled by the toys that come out.
Yeah.
And they chose not to put the Baby Yoda into manufacturing. So they're so far behind and it won't be out until April.
So I'm wondering how many seasons they've already got planned out.
I'm sure when they show run the stuff, they usually map it out for 5 years.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a 5-year arc right there.
Yeah.
Because the question is then, did the people even filming Rise of the Skywalker, were they even aware of Baby Yoda?
I bet they had no idea of all that.
Probably not. Was even J.J. Abrams at the highest level, was he aware of Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
Because where is Baby Yoda 25 years later when the new order is coming out, right? So that was the question.
Well, so, We know they're shooting Knights of the Old Republic now. I believe they are. I'd have to look.
Yes.
But I think they're already shooting it. So
Well, Obi-Wan Kenobi's getting his own trilogy.
really?
Yes.
Are they gonna bring Ewan
I'm
McGregor
not sure
back?
if it's a movie or if it's going directly to
I
Disney
thought he was
Plus.
so good in that role.
They are bringing him back, yeah.
Are they? I
Yeah.
thought he was so great in
Yeah.
that role.
I'm sure
The only saving grace of the prequels was him.
Liam Neeson was good, yeah. You know, they had an opportunity to really explore the Force. Like, they say things in that movie that caught my eye. Like, when they said he brings balance to the Force, I'm like, oh, of course he does, because everyone dies.
Right.
And at the end of it all, it's Luke is alive, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right? And then when Vader goes and kills everyone, it's just him and the Sith Lord and Ben and Yoda.
Right.
That's balance of the Force. I always look at it that way, right? But they had said something in there. Mace Landu said something in there. Mace said something like, the Force is failing the Jedi. Like, we don't have access to it as much as possible, maybe because there's just too many.
There's too many of us.
It's like a limited resource.
Yeah.
And so they had an opportunity to really explore the fall of the Force, and it didn't happen until, the Clone Wars, which I didn't watch, right? So,
It's a good. Well, I've watched a couple of seasons of the Clone Wars. It's very good. But what you realize is that because they've always said this, Ben Kenobi is the best swordsman ever.
Right.
And you get to see some of that in the Clone Wars, but for the fact that he gets his own trilogy, that would be absolutely amazing because they've got to explore all that piece.
Yep.
But Ben that is my favorite part of the whole series. The younger as he's coming up, kind of through the Jedi ranks and all that. But going back to the Knights of the Old Republic, there are Jedi everywhere.
Right.
And there are Sith everywhere.
Right.
So it will be interesting to see how that, because I think that's how they really start to explore some of these Jedi powers, because there's so much of it out there, right? There's a balance in the Force, but because there's so many of these guys out there running around.
Right, and do the Sith realize that if we go to 2, we become more powerful because we're the only 2 have access to the dark side? Anyway, this is Robert and Jason. We just talked a little Star Wars here with you. Hopefully you're enjoying this. If you ever need anything from us, reach out 281-401-9008, 281-401-9008. We'll be back.
What is that, segment number
6?
Oh! Let's see. KOTOR.
The Witcher came out. I recommend you watching that.
I saw that.
The problem is, like, you can always tell the production budget based on how big the sets are.
Oh, that's a good point.
And then the second thing that they use so that you don't realize how cheap the set is they do a dim lighting and fog, right? And so that show has a ton of money behind it. They didn't need to use the fog element, the dark element. I think it's a dark novel and a dark video game, but it was just too dark to make, so you couldn't really tell how big things are. I thought there was one big battle when he fights the Striga. That was great. It looked really huge, but there's other scenes that feels very like cheesy CW fantasy stuff, you know? And I'm like, oh, I'm a little disappointed. But overall, fantastic.
We'll tell you one thing I did like from
Ready when you are, man.
From Skywalker was when Dark Ray came out with a double-sided lightsaber. I was like, oh man, that's great. I love the double-sided lightsaber.
Alright, you guys ready?
Yep.
Well, I have 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Robert here, Jason, Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. It's got a couple more segments here. Still talking about Star Wars and The Witcher. Henry Cavill is perfect in the role, absolutely. I never read the books, I just played the video games.
Oh, okay.
But the video games were phenomenal, just really, really good. And the last one, I guess about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, was completely open world, which I thought was, prior to Red Dead Redemption was just massive open world. But, I'm so happy. We're living in an era now where you've got so much big money competing for your viewership, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, to a certain extent, there is a benefit to the consumer, right? Because you have so many choices. It's like Netflix is now the documentary channel.
Yeah.
I was like, my God, look at all these documentaries on everything.
Yeah.
So I felt like, well, good, someone's picking it up, right? And now the National Geographic's under Disney. I'm sure there'll be tons more nature and gazillions of those. So I feel like it's getting good. And then for the fanboy, the comic guy in me, the fantasy novel, I like that The Witcher's coming out. And they're going to do the Lord of the Rings, but prior to the Lord of the Rings, then they're going to do my all-time favorite, The Wheel of Time, that's coming up. So
interesting.
It's good when a lot of money is out there. It's actually how capitalism's supposed to work.
Right. Well, you've got a real challenge here with these networks. There's more than 6 channels on TV now, right?
Yes.
And now we have all these streaming services that they're trying to get your $5-10 a month, right?
Yep.
And so I think you're going to see this. I was thinking about Amazon the other day. Walmart was revolutionary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Amazon was revolutionary. Who's the next Amazon?
Right.
Who's the next Netflix? Walmart's not going anywhere anytime soon, but we know that there are these other business models that are having an impact on their bottom line. At some point, they'll be the next Amazon. I actually think it's going to be a point-of-sale 3D printing company, but that's a whole other thing. Yeah, because that completely eliminates
everything:
transportation, last mile, all that other stuff. Just have a giant 3D printer. You go to a store, have it delivered. They print it up, and they send it to you. If you watch Lost in Space, which if you've not watched Lost in Space,
I have not.
Netflix, phenomenal.
Really?
Phenomenal show.
Right? That's what we're talking about.
It's great. So, but they have a 3D printer on their ship. And so they 3D print stuff because they're
Lost in Space.
They're in the middle of nowhere and they have to be able to print their own stuff, right? And so you realize like that's the next revolutionary technology where I go to buy something or I have a 3D printer at my house, I buy the design specs online and it prints the product I want right there in my house. So I think that may be the next revolution of this thing.
Well, I think, yes. And then 100 years from now, we can just take dirt.
Yeah.
Put it in the backside of the time machine there's I forget the name of the rock, but there's a rock in North America that is like 90% of all rocks in North America.
Oh.
Right? It's like, man, you can just figure out how to take that material and then use that for 3D printing.
Yeah.
We're off and running now. Now we're really good, right? So we're,
which of course, who's going to accelerate that technology is going to be Tesla.
of course.
That's who's going to accelerate
SpaceX.
Yeah.
We figure out how to make things from Mars, right?
Yeah, you got to be able to make the stuff in space. You can't make it here and send it out.
Right.
Supply chains too. Takes 7 months to get to Mars.
Absolutely.
There's no Amazon Prime for Mars.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet.
How long does it take to get an email to Mars? Does somebody want to Google that one up? Because you just got to calculate what the speed of light is and the distance. It'll tell you how long it takes.
Huh.
But yeah, how long would it take to get an email to Mars?
8 minutes.
That seems too short. But Mars is pretty close. I'd have to look. You
That's
guys,
the delay. I forget what the delay was on that.
somebody, I know we got a bunch of engineers on here. Somebody pull up the speed of light. 6.022 times. Is that what it was? I used to have to memorize all this stuff for undergrad in physics. Let's see. 182,000 miles an hour. 300 kilometers per second. So the speed of light. So how long would it take to get to Mars at the speed of light? To Mars. Let's see here. Speed of light, Mars to Earth.
13 minutes, 48 seconds will be the delay.
Yeah, I thought it was far, that was further than that.
Fastest could be 4 minutes, and the maximum would be 24 minutes.
Okay. So about 20 to 30 minutes. It's not bad. Sometimes it takes us to get half a day to get a freaking email. Hey, I sent the email. You did? Really? I don't see it. Where's it in my box? I don't see it.
Oh, I had that
Text
problem
me.
with Amazon. It took like a half hour to get the code so I could get into my Amazon account. What's going on with these guys,
Yeah,
man?
what are you doing?
It's too many of them.
So, yeah, I guess we're still talking about Star Wars here in the third segment. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to Knights of the Old Republic. So I'm trying to figure out if it's a remake of the video game or if they're going to make
They haven't even announced it. I think they're still just brainstorming it right now.
Let me see. I'm going to pull it up. I'm not going to look right now because I see an article here from Mary. Oh, they're writing right now.
Yep.
They are writing. It's going to be based on the game. Interesting. Projects will be welcome news. Yep, 4,000 years before. I don't know who this person is that's writing it, but what has she written before? Who knows? First script is done back in May. I wonder when
Wow,
the
that's great.
come out. Wow, they hired him back in 2018 to start the writing of it.
I think you're free to do a lot more 4,000 years ago, right?
Yeah, well, it's funny. They're going to follow the video game, so it's funny because they talk about the most revered women characters in all the Star Wars series are actually in Knights of the Old Republic, and they're right. I mean, there's some real monsters in there. Some really good characters. So we'll see what happens. Huh. So maybe in 2 years, we'll be driving our Cybertrucks to the
New batteries.
with the new batteries to the Knights of the Old Republic.
This is a dry nickel battery now.
Oh, interesting.
It's a dry battery technology that should add.
There's a lot more nickel on this planet than there is lithium.
Yes.
A lot more nickel.
Yes.
In fact, the core is made of nickel, molten nickel.
Right. So they're talking about the ability to add on 40% more distance in Model S.
Well, let's do this. We'll talk about Tesla and cars in the next segment. How much time we got left, Aaron? 1 minute. Okay.
Well, let's talk about the event this weekend coming up.
Okay.
It's the end of every month. We have a weekend event coming up. It's called Real Estate Foundations. And if you're thinking about getting going, if you've been doing it for a while, it is for everyone. And it should give you a different perspectives on what you're actually looking at and thinking about doing. We're not selling the dream. We're not trying to scare you. We're just laying out the numbers, and you are able to work those numbers into your goals and your career as you see fit. And so this is what that foundation class is about.
Best way to say this is, have you ever been to a real estate seminar that's high on hype and low on information? This is the exact opposite.
Yes, there'll be a lot
of information. It's going to be like drinking from a fire hose, but this is what everyone keeps asking for, so I'm like, all right, we'll do it. We'll put it together. So it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see you guys here this weekend. Text 281-401-9008.
It starts tomorrow.
Starts tomorrow.
Yep. All right, guys, we'll be right back.
All right, let's talk about Teslas and cars.
Throw up Tesla.
You think this is the last one?
Yeah, sure.
I've got a lot of PowerPoints to make.
You do. I'm pretty good. I can usually redo 4. I can do 6 hours of PowerPoints. I can usually redo it in about 2 hours.
Yeah.
I already have everything, right?
Yeah, I got to open all of them up, and especially with the bigger screen, I can see everything.
All right, you guys ready?
Ready.
Ready to go.
All right, go live in
I
3,
can test the factory too.
1.
Welcome back, everyone. Robert here with Jason, Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We're going to have a little fun here, talk about Cybertruck, Tesla, cars in general, autos. We're big fans out here.
So I was watching, since we had some time there, with Christmas and everything, watching a lot. I love YouTube. I love me some YouTube. So I'm watching a lot of stuff from Matt Ferrara. Watching his watch stuff and his car stuff. He does something called the smoking tire, and he does reviews called One Take, and it's great because the way he does his car reviews is the way I do Facebook and a lot of other stuff. Just turn the camera on and go.
Right.
And so you don't get a lot of these jump cuts and edited stuff and all that. So he test drove. I watched him test drive the Model 3 and the new Porsche Taycan. Or I should say Porsche Taycan. He said it is a pretty decent car. So
Yeah, I hope so.
and then I watched Rob Ferretti. If you guys know Super Speeder Rob's, he used to own Gotham City Motorsports. They had like 400 exotic cars across the country, and they used to rent them out. He's always got these crazy stories about cars blowing up, catching on fire, and what you realize is most of these exotic cars are total pieces of garbage. They really are, with exception to Porsche and Corvette's pretty good. The rest of them are all they're all kind of a nightmare to own. Although I hear the Bentley Continental GT is actually a pretty decent car if you're into that high-end stuff. So he was talking about how electric cars, yeah, they're great, they're fast, but the driving experience still isn't comparable to driving an actual race car on the track.
No, because they drive like a Mercedes.
Right. That's exactly what it is. It's fast, but it's not like this visceral experience, right?
Until the
Roadster comes out.
The new Roadster comes out, which is supposed to be. So they have a new battery technology. They have a new chassis that they're building. They're going to put 3 motors in that Roadster, and they're talking about 0 to 60 in 1.9.
Yeah, which is insane.
Right,
it's absolutely insane. People talk about being in. If you've ever been in that GT3 I drove for a day, it's the closest I've ever been to like a real race car, and it is absolutely insane. So I can't imagine something. GT3 runs a 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds. I can't imagine something being literally a second and a half faster in the 0 to 60. That's whiplash territory.
Well, I saw a great video. They basically said, hey, over the last 8 years, look at how well this model. It used to go 0 to 60 in 3.9. Now it's down to 2.2. That Model S. Yeah. And the car is basically stayed the same price.
Right.
So the technology is there, and I'm always as a frame of reference for folks. If you've ever been on Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney World, which is a mag drive, that goes 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds.
Yeah.
So this one will go 0 to 60 in 1.9, full second faster.
Yeah. It's to cover 0 to 60 miles an hour that fast. That's very, very fast. It's amazingly quick. When you start driving cars that quickly, like we were out on the highway, we were going very, very fast. Well, here's the other problem that Tesla's going to run into. They don't have any active aero on any of their cars. And their aero is not that great anyway. So let me explain what that is. So the Porsche I was driving at 130 miles an hour. The big wing on the back, and there's a big carbon spoiler in the front, and there's a diffuser on the bottom of it. When you hit about 130, 140 miles an hour,
let's take off.
There's 1,000 pounds of downforce being pushed on that. The car weighs an additional 1,000 pounds from the air running over it and the air running underneath it. And the reason they do that is so the thing does not come off the ground.
Right.
So at some point, and I don't know about the Roadster, we'll have to look at the Roadster, but at some point Tesla's going to have to start adding real active aero to their cars because they're so fast.
Well, they started adding that back spoiler.
Yeah, that little spoiler in the back. Yeah.
That's going to be a standard feature in a Roadster. But also, they're heavier cars.
They are heavier cars.
Right, because of all the batteries. So that is one thing that they crank everything out of that battery. So they're going to go for plaid. The plaid chassis. It's going to be more expensive, you say.
Yeah.
It's going to be more expensive with the plaid chassis. And the new batteries, you can see a Roadster. You can see the Model S will probably go 540 range.
Now you're talking real range. That starts getting me excited. You get into the 4s and 500s, I start getting excited.
Right, if you can get that Model 3 to get over 400, I mean, that would be insane, right? You get 450 miles out of a car that's comparable to a Camry.
And it starts making that $50,000, $60,000 price tag for a Model 3. It starts making a lot more sense.
Yeah, and the one that we're looking at with everything that we want is like 56.
Yeah.
And they just added, if you have the performance model, they have a software update that'll make you kick up to the top speed model for only $2,000 more. So you get the longer battery, but you do get the quicker. It's not as fast as the pure top speed one, but it shaves your 0 to 60 like 4/10 or half a second off.
Yeah. I will tell you what's interesting in the Porsche Taycan.
Yep.
Is they have a cooling technology. So the problem with Tesla, the reason you can't use a Tesla as a race car, is it doesn't have the cooling for the battery and the motors to endure long term, like a real racetrack,
Right.
A couple hours on the racetrack. But the Taycan does. They have this cooling system that runs through, like they know the battery optimally charges between like 85 and 95 degrees. The wheels need this, the engine needs that, and they have this kind of cooling system that manages, it puts the optimal temperature on everything. And so I think that's still too soon for Tesla because they're still, like you said, they've got now the nickel battery, they're going to these other technologies, so don't develop all the cooling systems just yet. But this next generation of car, I think we will start to see some of that stuff.
If that battery is what they're claiming is a 40% jump in efficiency, then that Tesla Semi is
they're a go on the
a
semi.
game changer.
Yeah. Well, this is what I think is so funny when you hear the Tesla haters out there. They're like, well, the battery technology isn't developed yet. And what are we going to do about the power, the grid power, when all these people are plugging their electric cars in? And I'm like, look, dude, it's kind of like you arguing about going from a payphone to a mobile phone. Well, I mean, look, they're so big and they don't last as long and they're really expensive. I'm like, they are today.
Right.
But somebody's got to push that technology forward.
This is not a static world.
No.
Nope.
Well, it's kind of like, to get into healthcare, I always think it's hilarious when people talk about healthcare system. And I said, the minute you call it a system and not a technology means we've already lost the game. So how do you get better healthcare technology? You push the envelope of the technology.
Right.
You do the same thing in cars, do the same thing. It's all the same stuff.
Yep.
But until someone's pushing the envelope, there's never any real money or creative prowess that's applied to the problem.
So if this battery technology takes off, then they can basically exit their agreement with Panasonic, and they'll be making their own batteries now.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
And that's a large portion. They make their own seats.
Yeah.
Because it's so important to have a great seat, right? And so when you really have that vertical integration like Toyota does, then you're a car company, right?
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. There's supposed to be an announcement in January on the batteries. So we'll see what he's got up his sleeve on that stuff. But if that's the case, then it's scary. It really is scary when you start thinking about high-speed, over-the-road semi-trucks that drive themselves and don't need maintenance. And I mean, it's just, the battery that they're talking about has a 1,000,000-mile lifespan.
Yeah, that's insane.
So you buy a car that you can expect now to drive for 1,000,000 miles. Hey, this is Robert and Jason. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. We'll be back.
All right. I think we beat that one to death today.
You all right there, hey Rock?
Sure.
Destroyed my coffee. Pull up YouTube real fast.
Oh, is this the, what you call
I
it?
forget what it was, the pitch meeting.
The pitch, Star Wars pitch meeting?
Yep.